I love you. I love you so much. I don't know why I wore makeup today. Oh, thank you. I love you. I've been crying all day. It started when all of you came together and sang the song, "You Will Be Found." I don't know if you noticed, I was sitting over here in my little corner. They surprised me with that song. They tricked me, told me it was something very different. As I heard the words to the song and saw all of you come together in such a beautiful way, I was so moved, and I was reminded that that's what doTERRA represents for each and every one of us. Each and every one of us have been found. We've been found by someone who loves us, who's told us that we have value, who's told us that we matter, who's given us the keys to unlock our potential. And as you sit here today amongst friends, I want you to be reminded that you have been found. But now those very keys that have been given to you to unlock your potential have been put in your hands. And now our job is to take those keys and to go out into the world and unlock someone else's potential, to allow them to be found. I was having a conversation backstage today as we talked about the amazing talent that so many of us have. And our gifts and our talents are unique to us for a reason, as I talked about yesterday. But so many of us don't fit into the traditional business model. And so we don't know what to do with these gifts and these talents that are so beautiful and so grand and are capable of changing so many lives. What I love about doTERRA is it gives you a platform, it gives you a vehicle in which you can apply these amazing gifts, to be able to develop those gifts, to become better and greater, and to invite others to come along this journey with you. Because the beauty about doTERRA is we've recognized so many amazing people at our celebration night last night, is that you can't arrive there alone. You must bring people along with you. And through the process, not only do you become better, not only do you magnify your gifts, but you do the same for others. You give them that safe place of belonging. So on that thread today, I want to share with you the story of Blue Lotus. How many of you love Blue Lotus? Yes? So as I was preparing to come here, I learned that many of you have not heard the story of Blue Lotus. So I asked if I could share that with you, and so I'm excited to share that with you today. There is a phrase in Chinese, and I hope that I pronounce it somewhat close, Chayuni Erban. And it means to grow out of the mud unsullied, to be principled, and to be incorruptible. That is the meaning of Blue Lotus. So if you think about the Blue Lotus flower, there is symbolism found in the very nature of her biology. You see, her roots grow deep in the mud of the mucky river and ponds, but the stem and the flower rise high above the leaves that float atop the water. Many people think that at night, the flower dips below the mucky water, but in fact, that is not true. The Blue Lotus stands high all night long. Although it closes, the bloom closes at night, At morning, as the sun comes up, that blossom comes alive and opens up again, showing that she is incorruptible, that she stands above the world, although the mucky pond lies beneath her. Daytime, she reaches up towards the heavens. The blooming at dawn represents our ability to start again each day, to rise above all the threats, all the chaos, all the difficulty, all the trials of life that try to pull us down. Blue Lotus is a reminder that we can rise above our highest potential, that we can live our lives according to our highest ideals. Blue Lotus is a reminder that we can bloom into the person we are meant to be. Right? Yes. Yes. So when you think about the history of Blue Lotus, this flower has enchanted us for 3,000 years, right? These petals and its oils were valued by healers, by pharaohs, by artists, before science could tell us why. They understood there was something so sacred, so special about this blue lotus flower. The ancient Egyptians considered blue lotus to be a sacred plant of the gods, a plant that elevated their state of consciousness and connected them to the divine. In fact, they carved blue lotus blossoms on the walls of their temples, tombs, and pyramids. The flower opens each morning with a sweet perfume and an intense golden center against the deep blue petals. So this really looks like the sun meeting the sky. And as the sun goes down, the flower closes, only to open again the next morning. The perfect symbol of perpetual becoming, a symbol of rebirth and our ability to start each day anew. You think about that. How often do we hold on to our mistakes of yesterday? How often do we live in regret and shame of wishing we would have made different choices? It's not how we were intended to live. As part of living, we will stumble, we will make mistakes, but we are not meant to live in the shame of that, but rather look forward to what lies ahead and be grateful for the wisdom that that experience gave us. I fell in love with this oil when I was first introduced to it back in 1998. I thought it was so exquisite. I was absolutely infatuated with it. And then, a year later, I discovered that it was a complete fake. It was absolutely man-made, synthetic. So I searched for years for a pure source of Blue Lotus. I looked everywhere, trying to find it. Everything I found, of course it all claimed to be pure Blue Lotus, was synthetic. So you see, Blue Lotus grew on the Nile River. It was very popular not only in Egypt, but then it also became popular through the Roman Empire, through Greece, and even India thousands of years ago. But then it disappeared and was completely forgotten. The blue lotus flower was so revered by the Egyptian pharaohs that no longer grows along the Nile River. Pollution and environmental changes have made it so that the Nile River no longer houses this precious, precious petal. So when our sourcing team came together, they brought me a sample in 2019. And I was so excited about the sample that they brought me as I smelled it because it was exquisite. It was so beautiful. However, I was so disappointed because there was simply not enough to provide for doTERRA's global demand. So we're able to offer it as a limited time offering And then that was it. You see, even though we found some massive ponds of Blue Lotus, it simply wasn't enough. It takes an astonishing 1 ton of petals to produce just 1 kilo of Blue Lotus extract. So no wonder the supply wasn't there. But we continued our search. We did not give up. And then a family was discovered in China that was selling Blue Lotus at a small local market in rural China for use at as a religious offering. It's often used in the Buddhist religion. Remarkably, this man, Mr. Guo, was the first to grow Blue Lotus in all of China. When he finished with the military, he had a dream that he would figure out how to grow Blue Lotus, which means you have to create ponds in order to do this, because it was so symbolic to his faith and his family's generational religious offering. He was able to do that. 1998, the very same year that I started my search for Blue Lotus. So as we went forward in China with amazing partners who are innovators, who are distillers, and we asked them, could you help us? Could you help us find Blue Lotus? So they came together with Mr. Guo to ask him, would you like to dream bigger? He said, yes, I'm all in. So larger ponds were built as we were able to create a production, a cultivation of Blue Lotus that allowed us to bring this Blue Lotus to you. It took us 4 years to accomplish this. 4 years. But those things that are worth having, they're never easy, are they? They're never easy. 4 years later, I'm proud to say that today, doTERRA has 100% exclusivity to the world's only pure Blue Lotus. This supply chain was created exclusively for you. Yes, I'm so excited for what this means. So, more importantly, when you think about the purity of this oil, I want to talk about the sourcing, the supply chain, and what it means to them. This was created with so much care. It truly is a labor of love that has created ripples of change that will continue for years to come. When I visited the Blue Lotus ponds, I was amazed at the level of detail that goes into growing these flowers, taking care of these flowers. The lotus plants are plagued by snails. They eat the stems and the flowers of these pods. And every day, these snails have to be removed by hand. The water has to be checked every day to make sure that it's clean. They have little fish that they put in little baskets to make sure that the fish are still alive. And if the fish get sick or if the fish die, then they know something has happened to the water that they have to change to make sure that these lilies, these Blue Lotus plants, stay alive. These are 3,000-year-old plants now growing in this little village in China. Now seeing Mr. Guo's dream come to reality. To see that expand and grow made my heart feel so happy. The beautiful women who are working in the ponds have come together in a collective, magnificent way. And as I sat with them, they were so happy to share with me what this job means to them. For some of them, it meant they're able to send their children to school. For others, it means they get to stay in a community where they feel safe, that has been part of their heritage for generations before them. We've created 92 jobs through our Blue Lotus supply chain so far. The impact in this community is 285. This is a regenerative process where people are able to come in and be a part of this. Yes. in the Guangdong district, they live near this ancient city. It's called the Zudong village. It's 500 years old. Most of the people have evacuated because there is no industry in this area, so they haven't been able to stay in their homes. There are only about 25 families remaining. And one of the women, her name is Mrs. Zhao Zendi, who works in the ponds to care for the Blue Lotus, could not stop thanking us for allowing her to have this job because it meant she gets to stay in her village. It's been part of her family's heritage. So she took us to the village and she showed us where she worshiped. She invited us into her home, and it made my heart feel so happy to know that we get to give her that pride of staying where she belongs. Blue Lotus is known as the oil of highest potential. The oil and the plant that creates it are beautiful tools to help us aspire to our highest, most ambitious potential. So I ask you, what do you aspire to become? What impact do you want to make in this world? What legacy are you creating? What do you want to be known for when you are no longer on this earth? Will you allow yourself to bloom, to show your true, magnificent, authentic self, and to give others permission to do the same? The world needs you. It needs you to rise above the muck and the mud of this world that divides us. It doesn't matter what we believe. It doesn't matter what church we go to or if we even go to church. It doesn't matter what language we speak. It doesn't matter what color our skin is. It doesn't matter whether we're married or single or divorced. It doesn't matter whether we have children or not. It doesn't matter what age we are, what weight is on the scale. Everyone belongs here. Everyone belongs, and everyone has value. And in a world that tries to divide us, that tries to tell us we don't belong, we are here to say otherwise. We are here to say you belong. You have a voice. I see you. I believe in you. And let me lift you up to help you rise up to your highest potential. That is what we do. doTERRA exists to help the world heal. I am so grateful for these beautiful gifts of the earth. They were given to each of us by a loving creator. And it's his way of saying, I see you. I love you. I've got you. And I'm with you. And what he desires for you, what I desire for you, is to bloom so magnificently beautiful that the world cannot ignore you. Because when you bloom, when you give freely, when you step forward with all of your gifts, imperfectly perfect, you give others permission to do the same. And we all get to show our beauty. Every one of you are magnificent. You are extraordinary. And I hope, if nothing else, that you leave this event being reminded of that fact, that you have a purpose here upon this earth, that you are here at this time for a reason, that you are hearing these messages that were put on this stage today at the perfect time for you. We have a great work to do, and I couldn't be more honored to put my arms around you, to be with you in this cause. Because as we put our individual and our collective efforts forward, it is powerful. We are stepping in to our truth. We are letting the world know that there is hope, that there is healing to be found in this world. We get to be that safe place. Because right now, outside of this room, there are people who are on their knees, who have lost their hope, who have lost their sense of belonging, who do not know their worth, who are living in pain, who are suffering. We get to be the answer. We get to be their solace. But it means we have to step outside of ourselves. We have to let go of the limiting beliefs that get into our head that tell us we're not worthy, that we're not enough, that we're not what they need. You are exactly what they need. Everything you need in order to bloom, in order to thrive, in order to make a difference in the world lives inside of you right now. And as we reach out and as we serve, that is where we find our joy. That is our happy place. And as I looked at the number that was on the screen today of what has been donated for Healing Hands projects with this group alone, in the matter of 3 days, I'm blown away. I'm blown away at the generosity in this room. I am amazed at your beautiful giving hearts. And as I've had conversations with so many of you this week, I have been moved. I have been touched. This gives me so much confidence of the future of doTERRA all over the world. The heart of doTERRA lives inside each and every one of you. As we come together as a collective, we are creating a healing movement that will not be stopped. You know, many people will ask me, why does doTERRA need to be a network marketing company? Any of you get that question? Like, I don't know if I dare raise my hand with this audience. It's okay. I grew up despising network marketing. I hated it. My father drove us around in this great big red station wagon when I was a little girl, and he would pop in the cassette tapes, right? And he would try to pump himself up, and he and my mother, because I was the oldest, would bring me to watch the younger children. And every time they would say, this is gonna change our future, this is it. And every time, I failed. And so when we got together, as we were designing the fabric that became doTERRA, we had to ask ourselves the question, how are we gonna bring these special oils to the world? Oils like Blue Lotus. How are people gonna understand how precious Blue Lotus is unless we share our story of how we use Blue Lotus, of what it has done to change us? As I can tell you, Blue Lotus has changed my life. I have Blue Lotus on right now. It's on my throat so that I can find the words to speak, to touch your heart today. It's on my wrists, on my pulse points. It's over my heart so that I can feel you. And so that collectively, you make me stronger. And it has helped me recognize that I'm not done growing, that there is more for me to learn, to continue stretching and figuring it out, because I don't have it all figured out. That's what Blue Lotus is to me. To remind me to be incorruptible, to be a servant leader for the rest of my life, to be my Creator's hands and feet, to remind me to stay humble, but to rise high. So as we have this conversation about how do we share these precious gifts of the earth with the world, we knew it had to be person to person. We have to share our stories. We have to get oils on people. They have to understand the symbolism of these gifts of the earth to recognize how powerful they are for our physical, for our emotional well-being. And so as we designed this, we said, if we're going to be a network marketing company, if we're going to do this through the power of people, we're going to do it differently. You see, I was raised up in the corporate world as a woman, whereas I rose up to the highest level in the company that I worked with before. Do you know that I sat on an executive board with 3 other men? I was the only female. Yes. But my salary and my bonus structure was 1/2 of what my male counterparts were paid because I was a woman. So when we created doTERRA, for me, it was very important to remove that glass ceiling, especially for women, to give them a place of belonging where they could rise as high as they chose to rise. I knew this business model would allow people to connect with these gifts, that would empower families to take charge of their health care. But what I didn't realize as we started the beginning of the Great Recession of 2008 is what it would do for individuals and families, to give them that financial well-being that they were so desperate for. But would also give people the opportunity to develop their gifts and their talents in a world that says you don't belong. You're a nonconformist, to say you belong here. And this is where your gifts can take flight to bless the world. So I hope that you will all join me and be so proud of this business model that you are a part of, to be so proud of this healing movement that we are all a part of, and go out and magnificently bloom and help the world heal. I love you so much. Thank you for allowing me to be with you.